I'm Kevin McCamey, and I'm going to be sharing with you what I've learned about the 6 secrets that successful people use every day. The world's highest achievers use these 6 strategies on a daily basis to enrich their lives and allow them to perform at their highest level. We're also going to be looking at how these same 6 secrets can dramatically improve your life. So, tonight we're going to be talking about why most of us end up failing, the science of high performance, my surprising results once I started implementing these strategies, what the exact habits of high performance are, what your game plan should be, and we even have a giveaway at the very end. So, please watch this all the way through so you don't miss out. So, what is it that the world's highest performing people, most successful people, most fulfilled people, what do they do differently? Why do things just seem to work out for them? Because it's not easy. You've probably all experienced at least one of these things. I know I've experienced several of those in my life. And until I found these 6 strategies, burnout and exhaustion, overwhelm, and even discouragement would often stop me in my tracks, unfortunately. But how do the world's most successful people utilize these strategies in order to make their lives better? And how did I do the same thing? So before we go any further, ask yourself these questions. Is improving your performance important to you right now? Maybe this is not for you, and it's okay to be skeptical. Okay? What would happen, though, if you really focused on improving your performance, and how could it impact not only your life, but your family's lives, your friends, your team at work? How could it impact everyone around you? Let's talk about what's working and what's not working now. Many of you have probably tried these things that are listed right here, but we find out that they're not quite enough. We get started, we work hard, we're even passionate about what we're doing, but somehow we just don't seem to have the right ingredient to get us over the hump and into that next level of success like we really want. So, how do we reach that next level of abundant success without burning out and without getting fatigued? That's what we want to find out tonight. So, the science of high performance was actually studied by the High Performance Institute, and it was founded by Brendon Burchard. You may have seen him on the internet or read one of his books or seen him on TV. He coaches multimillionaires. And he wrote the book High Performance Habits, which was an all-time bestseller, just one of the many books he's written. And he and other scientists and psychologists worked together and studied different people, different high performers, and why they were able to achieve such levels of performance and success over and over again. And this is some of the ways that they did it and some of the questions they found out answers to. Why do some of these performers succeed more quickly? Of the ones that did succeed, why were some of them just happy as they could be and others were absolutely miserable? And then what motivates people to actually get the training, to follow through on the habits that allowed them to be that successful? This is some indication of everything that they did during the study. They had 1 million assessments they gave. They had 300,000 different organizational employees, all kinds of surveys, all kinds of online students. You can see it all listed here. They went through all kinds of data, and what they found was that there were about 100 performance variables that kept coming up to the top that many of these performers had. And there were actually 6 of them that all of them were using 6 habits that they were using consistently on a daily basis that were common to all of these high performers. So, what are they? Well, they're presented right here on this slide. And we're going to go through each one of these strategies and habits for you tonight very quickly. So, here you can see them on the screen. And again, we're going to go through each one. But the Institute also found out that high performance, when they defined it and they asked these people, they said, so high performance is really succeeding beyond the standard norms consistently and over the long term, not just a short term, one hit wonder. They were also improving their well being and their relationships, not just their career status or one area of their life. It was across the entire aspects of all of their lives. High performers describe the feeling as fully engaged, alive, joyful, and confident. They felt like they were really in the game. Have you ever felt like a spectator in your own life? That is no way to be a high performer. You want to be in the game and you want to be leading the charge of your own life, right? Of course you do. So high performance, believe it or not, was not because of age or gender, nationality, or even intelligence or personality or your strengths. It wasn't because of any of those things. It was because high performers actually woke up every day and the first thing they asked was, how can I be of service to other people? They were always asking that question. So there's this service mindset and servant attitude that high performers actually have that allow them to inspire others and lead other people. So what about my results and my life? How do these things help me? Well, let me tell you. I had a situation where I was a consultant. I was traveling all over the country. I was focused on my career. I became an expert in my field. And I also started to think I knew everything. And I did know a lot about the subject matter that I was teaching and coaching on. But I became complacent. And I stopped growing. I was just existing. I wasn't really living my life. I was almost a spectator in my own life. I needed to get back in the game. And then a very important event happened. My father got put in the hospital and very quickly passed away. Just within a matter of days. And I was there in the hospital room with him. And as they wheeled him out, I was left alone in that room with his wallet and his phone and his car keys. He didn't need those things anymore. Wherever it was he was going, he wasn't taking them with him. And I looked at those 3 things and I knew that those were important to me, not his, but my things like that. Every day when I left the house, I checked my pockets. Did I have my wallet and my phone and my keys? Because I was traveling all over the country, training and coaching physicians and healthcare providers. And I had to have those things in order to do my job. I had to have a wallet so I could have my driver's license and have money to get to the place I was going, to get on an airplane, to drive in my car. I had to have my keys to get somewhere, and I had to have my phone to stay in touch with the people I was going to work with and also the people at home. And these 3 things were symbols to me of my career, my job, if you will. And I had been totally focused on that, traveling all over the country, not staying home and being present with my family. And I realized in that moment that my dad didn't need those things. Maybe I shouldn't put such an importance on those things, that's those symbols of the career that I had. And maybe I needed to make a change. And I had a mind shift that day. And I started looking for coaching and training and seminars and webinars and anything I could get my hands on, and books that I could read and listen to find out how can I get more out of life and how can I really build relationships with my wife and my kids and my family. Because all that time I was gone, those relationships, those connections were lacking. So how was I going to do that? And I had to find out. Well, I came across this book, High Performance Habits by Brendon, and I devoured it. I looked at these 6 habits and I started utilizing them in my life every single day. I started journaling. I started exercising. I started doing things I hadn't done in years in order to grow and improve my performance and be more connected to my family. I got a whole new level of awareness, found more clarity. I improved my health dramatically. That sign of my dad's passing was a real wake-up call to me that I needed to eat differently, I needed to exercise more, and I needed to live my life in a different way and make sure that I was focusing on the people who were really important to me. And I made some changes. And over the last few years, I have studied to be a high performance coach. And that's why I'm here tonight sharing these things with you, because I feel compelled that you know about them too. So let's go through these habits one by one. And if you will, get out a pen and paper and write down what your answers are to these questions. As we go through these habits, think about them. Are you utilizing these in your life? Are you developing connections with your family? Are you performing like you need to at work? And think about these things and how they can actually help you. So we're going to figure out how the high performers got that way, how they developed these habits, and how did they keep growing and succeeding over the long term. The first thing they did was they sought training or counseling. Remember? That was one of the first things that I did. They received coaching like I did. They used the habits and they practiced them themselves. They implemented them in their daily life. And they started to experience breakthroughs just like I did. So the first habit is to seek clarity. What does that really mean? Well, ask yourself, do you know what you really want your life to look like 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Have you thought about that recently? Or are you just existing day to day and reacting to whatever happens? Have you really thought about it and tried to write down what it is that you want and where it is you want to go and who you really want to be? So write down these questions and ask yourself these questions. These are so important that you understand why and who you want to be in order to have a target that you're raising your ambition to get to. It's just one of the key factors in high performers being able to succeed because they know who they are. They know who they want to be, and they have that target in front of them that they're headed towards. And they're taking daily steps towards becoming that person. They're also looking ahead and saying, who is that person there? Who is that guy? Who is that gal? What habits do they have? What do they do? And they're implementing those habits in their life right now. They're starting to act like that person would act today. You don't have to just wish that you can become something one day. You can actually start living that way today, increment by increment, step by step. The next thing they do is they learn to actually generate energy. Now, I used to think that if I went out and worked out, I was expending energy and I was going to be tired and I wouldn't be able to get my work done. And I found that the exact opposite is true. When I would go work out and I would walk or I would run or I would exercise or do a core workout or lift weights, whatever it was, I found that I got my blood pumping again in my body. And I was more energetic and more alive than I had ever been. I started to lose weight. I actually lost 25 pounds over a year's time and got off of diabetes medication because I was feeding my body what was good for it. And I was exercising almost every day and working and practicing and just continuing to take those steps forward. So you can actually generate your own energy. We're not talking about just physical energy. We're also talking about mental energy. Perhaps you've heard the term runner's high. And if you're not a runner, maybe you just think that's a silly phrase that somebody made up. Well, it's really true. Runners and even walkers, when people start exercising, they get into a flow and the endorphins start to get released because they realize they are accomplishing something. They are strengthening their body, they're strengthening their mind, and they are generating more energy that they can utilize throughout the day. And it's so important nowadays to not only have physical and mental energy, but also to have emotional energy and emotional intelligence to use that energy in the right places. All right, the third habit was called raising necessity. So what does that really mean? Well, why would it be necessary for you to make some changes in your life? Think about that. Why is it important that you get to that next level? Maybe you're looking to earn more money. And so that's great, but why do you want a raise in your salary? Probably to take care of your family or to take care of your needs better. And if you can realize what your why is, it will help you to realize that this is important. I can't just try to walk or exercise or run one day and then not be able to do very well and give up. If I would have done that, I wouldn't have lost the 25 pounds. I had to keep going over the whole year in order to do that. So you've got to raise the level of your necessity. So it is necessary that you really do this thing, that you take these steps towards that goal, towards that dream or aspiration that you have, that next level of performance that you're looking to obtain. Then, as you have these things, you're working on yourself, you're going to find you've got clarity on where you're going. You've increased your energy. You've got energy to produce now. And you know why. You've raised the necessity. And this allows you to increase your productivity at work, to increase the quality time that you spend with your family at home, because you're getting all your work done faster and more efficiently. And now you've got time to actually spend with your family and develop those deep connections that you've been looking to achieve for so long. So ask yourself, are you engaged and aware of your passion? And how much more productive could you be if you were utilizing your passion, something you're really passionate about, to accomplish your projects at work, your projects at home, building your own business, whatever that might be? When you're passionate about something, you can utilize your energy and target it towards what you're clear about and why you're doing it. And you become so much more productive. Next, when we're getting more productive, we're starting to have deep connections with our family, you'll find that you start to develop more influence with others. And I became really aware that it wasn't just me I was doing this work for. Sure, I was growing and I was increasing, but I felt compelled to share these secrets with other people like you. And I had to tell people about it. And that's why I'm doing this webinar tonight, because I want you to be able to accomplish even more things than I did. I want you to get those aspirations and dreams that you've always looked for, to get to that next level in your career, to have those deep connections with your family. So who are you a role model for? And are you really acting like one today? Perhaps it's your spouse or your partner or your kids. Maybe it's some team members at work that really look up to you because you're the leader. Who do you need to be a role model for and really lead them and show them how it can be done? And then finally, if you have all those other 5 habits and you put them in your life, but you don't have the courage to implement the action required, it's not going to work. It requires us to do all 6 of these habits, to put all 6 of them and implement them in our life, because we've got to have that courage to take a step into the unknown, to have some ambition to do something great. And we may not do something great tomorrow, but we're looking at that in the target in the future, that person we're going to be in 3 years, for instance. And we're seeing who they are and what they get to do and what they bring to other people and how they serve other people. And we understand that every day we get a little better and we get closer to becoming that person. But it often takes some change in our life. We have to put these habits into practice, and that requires some discipline. But you can do it. If I can do it, I know you can do it. Successful people have been using these habits for years, and you can too. So, what is your game plan after you've learned these 6 habits tonight? Well, we're going to have a download that you can actually download with some real suggestions of ways that you can implement these 6 habits in your own life. We've also got included in that some affirmation statements that you can use on a daily basis to remind yourself why you're doing this, what it is that you're working for. And this is just a start. We're going to put a link in the comments that you can download this free document, free guide, and that's our gift to you. And so I want you to write down these 3 questions to go along with that guide, though. Who do you really want to be? Why is that important to you? And do you have a plan to begin living to become that person? So you get the free document, you ask yourself these questions, and then you can take off. You can become a high performer. Now, most people are watching this webinar for one of three reasons. Either they're feeling pain and they've got a desire to get out of where they are currently. So they're in a situation that's not good and they want to get out of that and get to a better situation, a better environment, a better job, a better career. Could be any one of those things. Other people just feel plain stuck. And that's probably where I was. I was almost caged by my own thoughts that I had grown as far as I could go. And I was nowhere near growing as far as I could grow, as I hope you figured out by just watching this webinar. And the third group, they're the special ones. They've got some ambition and they have a desire to achieve. They're always looking for that next challenge. So I'm not sure which one of these things it is for you, but one of these three things probably brought you to watch this webinar. And if they did, ask yourself this: are you ready for the next level of success? Do you have all the skills you need? Do you have the training? Do you have the coaching? Do you have people that are counting on you? You have a reason that's necessary, that you need to do something? You've got to get out of this situation, or you've got to stop being stuck, or you've got to accomplish, you've got to achieve that next challenge because it's just in you. You can't help it. And my question to you, would you like to get there faster? Because if you would, I'm going to suggest to you that you spend an hour and invest an hour of your future with me. And let's dive into what your why really is. Let's create a game plan for you. I'm offering you a chance to have a complimentary strategy session with me. So as you know, I'm a coach. I coach clients from all over different places, all kinds of different careers, but I'm offering for you tonight a 1-hour strategy session, and I'm going to do it for you for free. It won't cost you a thing. So invest an hour in that and register at the link included for a complimentary strategy session. And if you register within the next 24 hours, you're going to also receive a free access to the Premier Performance Course, an online course that I developed that'll help you in addition to this hour of free coaching that I'm going to give you. So I hope to hear from you in the future. Just register at this QR code or with the link that is in the comments, and I will see you for your complimentary strategy session, and we will get you started on the journey to your future. Thank you.